Alright guys, we're here again working on the KLR650. We're going to lube the throttle cables. One thing I noticed when I first bought this bike, ignore this, I loosened this up already, is how much throttle play was in this. Throttle cables were loosened all the way up and there was a lot of slop in the throttle, and I didn't like that. My other bikes, it's, you know, there's not a lot of play in there. So we're going to take this off. We're going to lube these cables. They've probably never been done. So that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to peel this rubber piece back here and expose these two screws here. I'm going to take this bolt all the way out of the hand guards. We're going to get it out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and pop this off here and lube the cables. The book tells you to take the cables completely out. I'm going to try to do it with it still attached to the carbs down here. See if I can just spray enough of the lube down, get it to go down the cables without having to remove that. Okay guys, I forgot to turn the camera on and show you what I was doing. What I did was I took these two bolts out here after moving the hand guards out of the way. They're two Phillips screws, and I used an impact hammer on them just to make sure I didn't strip them. Because, like I said, it looks like this has never been taken apart before, except for when somebody put heated grips on it. So take those two screws out and then drop that piece. And then you've got the two cables running here, your accelerator cable and your return cable. So this is where we're going to try to pull these out and lube them. So let me try to see if I can get this out of the way. Unfortunately, I don't have a place to put my camera where you can see me actually doing this, but just rotate these out of the way, and you can disconnect the cables right down here. You can see where the cable goes into the grip area there, and that's where you can just line them up and pull it out. So there's that one. So that's how I'm going to do it with both of them. Then I'm going to try to feed it through this rubber housing and lube them. Alright guys, so here's what I did. I took one of the little plastic spray nozzles that comes with the chain lube and cut it with a knife just a little bit so it would fit down in this groove, and put it down in that groove and just kept spraying chain wax through it till it started coming out. I don't know if you can see in here. You can see it's a little darker up here at the top where the chain wax started coming through, and I just worked the cable up and down with my hand here, and it is moving so much smoother. So I believe that's the return, yeah, that's the return cable. And so it's nice and lubed up. So I'm going to put it back on down here at the carb and then do the same for the other side. Just so you can see what it looks like, here's what I did. Just kind of shoved that little rubber straw down, or a little plastic straw down in there. I cut a little groove in it so it would slide down in, and so now I'm going to start spraying the chain wax through that until it starts coming out of the bottom. Now it does take a while, so you got to be patient. Alright guys, so I got the lube running through. I put some grease on both the barrels, and I just fed the lines back through. So now we're going to put some grease on this handlebar here, see if we can push it in and out enough to get some grease to spread out on this handlebar here. I don't want to take this all the way out. I don't know if it has one of those locking lugs in there. I'm afraid if I take it all the way off, I won't be able to get it back on. I haven't taken this one off yet, so don't want to take it off any further than that. So I think I can get enough grease to smear in there and kind of slide it back and forth to get enough grease all the way on this grip or this handlebar here, and lube that up a little bit too. So I'm going to do that and then get ready to reattach my cables. Alright, so I've got my cables run now. Now one thing you want to look at is right here on the top of this plastic piece there's a little groove, and that slides. I don't know if you can see the groove on the other side, but it slides right into those grooves. There's a little groove there that kind of slides in like that. I don't know if you can see, sorry. so it slides in there together like that. So let me see if I can get these lined up right. I'll need 2 hands and get the screws tightened back in, and we'll be right back. All right guys, so I put the 2 screws back in. I pulled this rubber cover back over to cover up the cables there, and man, this throttle moves so much smoother. I didn't think that it had that much resistance on it, but after lubing those cables, man, it's nice and smooth, and has a lot more free play in it. So now I'm gonna put this top cover back on. Just gonna push it back on to snap in there into place, and then we'll be ready to adjust our cables. Okay, so I just adjusted my slack out of my throttle cable. See, now I just have just a little bit of play in it. I actually want to take a little bit more out of it, so I'm going to take this lock nut loose if I can do it one-handed. Put the camera down for a second. Alright, so I just loosened this lock nut, and I'm going to screw it away from the throttle a little bit and try it. Still a little bit there. All right, now that's pretty good. I'm going to leave it there. That's about how much free play I have on my other bike, so I think that'll be good. All right guys, here's why I wanted to lube this one up. I don't know if you can see inside the handle on the end of the cable, you should have a little bit of grease on there. It's got a Teflon type washer in it, but it's bone dry, and I don't think this cable has ever been lubricated, so I'm going to go ahead and lubricate it. Be careful when you're taking this off for your neutral switch. Yeah, I accidentally just snapped the nipple off of mine, so we're going to probably have to get a new neutral switch, so just be careful with that. So we're going to go ahead and lube this cable up now that we have it off. So let me grab my cable lube and we'll lube it up. All right, so here's the cable lube from Motion Pro that I use. Just put I use chain wax, put your aerosol on there, spray it through, and pump enough through till it runs down and runs out of the bottom of the clutch cable. So that's what I've done. So now we're going to clean this up, take this off, and we'll do the same for the accelerator cables. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this, but I just rub a little bit of grease around the barrel, and then I'm going to put it back into the clutch handle and feed it back through. I forgot to mention that you do have to loosen these adjusters here, this adjuster and holder here, for letting the cable come out of the handle here. So now we're going to put that back in. Okay, so now I got the handle back in place there, so just work the cable back in through this groove, and now I'm going to put some grease on this pin, and we're going to feed that through as well. Okay, now that we get this all back in, we're going to check the clutch lever free play. And what you do is I put a little mark down here on the bottom of this handle. I don't know if you can see it there, and then it's supposed to be 8 to 12 millimeters of play in free play in this lever. So I just put a ruler up right on that mark, move the, I don't know if you can see with this, and then move the clutch handle, and then just look at how much play you have. Right now I have right about 10 millimeters of free play, so you can screw this lever out like this direction to make it a little tighter, less free play, and then just tighten this lock nut back in there when you've got it adjusted where you want. So right now mine has about, it's about 10 millimeters of free play. I'll measure it again, but when I just measured it just a second ago, that's how much free play I have. So this one should be good to go. We'll check it and see how everything feels, You know, now that it's lubed up, hopefully we won't have any issues with it and it will last for a long time. So that's how I do my clutch lever maintenance to the cable and the lever itself. You know, put a little grease in here so everything kind of moves freely and doesn't have a lot of friction, and handle does feel like it moves a little bit smoother and a little bit easy. So there we go. That's our cable, our clutch cable adjustment for the KLR. So make sure you tighten everything back down. I'm going to tighten this up. I had to loosen this a little bit to move it to be able to get to that nut. So we're going to put everything back the way it was. And so that's how you lube your cables. And my throttle grip there, I put grease on it as well. So hope this helps. If you please like, subscribe, and share. Give me some feedback, and ride safe. Thanks.